Friendship. Friendship is on the mind today. I'm Ken Napzok. This is a Monday morning show, a little podcast from your rock and roll radio DJ man. This is a show which I sit down on a Sunday evening and look towards Monday, but the last couple times I've actually done this on a Monday. You can tell I'm not lying about that because we got a fresh cup of 7-Eleven coffee. Not a sponsor. Blueberry French vanilla. Do yourself a favor. I know you like your big coffee shops. You got 7-Eleven near you? Swing on in. If you don't, you got a Wawa's or a Sheetz or something weird like that, go ahead and get that too. I do want to apologize to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube channel members. One of the perks is getting this episode early, and my life has not let me do that. So I've let you down again. But I do want to encourage some folks, if you haven't checked out my Patreon page, the big draw is to get in there in the Discord and you know, support yours truly. But I know times are tough. I know times are tough because I just bought some Big League Chew for my ASMR channel, Sports Card ASMR. I can do some gum chewing, and I haven't bought Big League Chew in a long time. Let me just get it here. Let me just get it. And yeah, I know audio listeners. You mentioned Big League Chew. We all know what Big League Chew looks like. Okay. This is an old man thing. I know this is supposed to be a reflective, introspective show looking ahead to the week. We're gonna get to that, but I got to be an old man for a second. Okay, Big League Chew. This was $5, maybe roughly. The coffee's like under $2. First of all, the guy on the front is just scary. This is a paltry amount of gum. Now, maybe I was a little kid when I was, at the height of my Big League Chew usage, and this just was bigger in my little grubby hands. But it just seems like more proof that you can't afford to be poor in this world. There you go. Political statement of the day. Big League Chew, part of the shrinkflation going on. I do want to look ahead to the week. Friends are on the mind. Friendship are on the mind. Friendship and friends are on the mind. I've got, I had my week, a couple sit-downs, little lunches with some old friends. And I've been working really hard on that this last year to reconnect with some folks. Over the last 8 to 10 years of my life, a lot changed. All of it good. Even the bad stuff or even the tough things or the things I lost or things I had to go through, all part of a great decade. And we are inside a month almost. Well, a little over than a month away from me turning 50. Expect a lot of thoughts on that. Most of them good. But my 40s were a great decade. And it's definitely now, I could say, wrapped up into a little 10-year package. But over the last 10 years, a lot of the friends I made, even in my 20s or even my 30s, the roster of friends changed, and that's okay, and that is normal. And I don't think that should be something that we beat ourselves up on. But we do have a tendency to just kind of, our circles move, our nucleuses kind of shift, like blobs, friendship blobs, and you move on from folks for no bad reasons. And then 2016, 2020, a little lockdown, a little pandemic, 2024. The last 10 years have been, full of things in the world that have challenged and stretched families and friends. And I also felt that as well. And I also always say this, I endorse you separating from friends and family if it is too much, if it is better for you and perhaps even better for them. I know we talk about the division in the world, but yeah, there's just some gaps that are going to be too wide. That even if we're close still, there's a distance. That's been a lot of the last 10 years. But this is actually it's not about that a lot, the politics of it, the social issues of the world. Over the last 10 years, when these big changes swept into my life, and maybe you, and I hope you can meet me at this point in your own life, change of job, change of location, relationships change, anything. You start a new relationship, you end one, whatever it is. Over the last 10 years, a core group of my friends, especially a lot of wonderful creative friends that I met in my 30s, kind of were no longer as prominent in my life for no reason other than I just seemed to get swept up in some of the changes in my life in my early 40s that carried through this last year. again, all of it good, all of it probably maybe the way it was supposed to be in some ways to concentrate on certain areas of my life. But when my life changed dramatically in 2025, about this time, almost this time last year, I had a lot of friends around me, to be clear. But there was a large collection of friends that I was like, I haven't seen them in a long time. And I was probably the reason. I didn't foster the relationship. And they've gone on to other things. And again, that's normal. That's natural. Their nucleus has changed. I'm not part of it anymore. But as I have felt lost and alone in the wilderness in 2025 into 2026, I realized the mistake. I realized the pang in my stomach of I need help and I need support. I need people around me that care about me, know about me, and I don't have as many as I used to. As you get older, your friend group shrinks. I actually kind of I understand it. That idea of you get older, your friend group shrinks. As I get older, I understand it. And sometimes it's just we don't have the energy. Like I will say this right now. This is not a shot across the bow at anything in the old Collider, Schmoes, digital media days, Schmodown days. But like I was surrounded by a lot of folks every week, and it was fun at the peak of it. I'm booking for movie fights. Often I was booking people that I knew, and then you bring them back because you know them better. So like every week I was around 4 to 10 people coming in to hang out with me for work or for fun or going to events, Comic-Cons, all those things. Like it was spectacular. And I miss that, but also I don't miss that. That might be part of the getting older, your friend group shrinks. Maybe, again, you might not be able to connect directly because you didn't produce at Screen Junkies, but maybe you look back and go, yeah, maybe it's college, maybe it's a job, maybe it's a workout group, a running group, something, neighbors. That changed, and that's normal, and that's natural. And sometimes I wouldn't have the energy to do that anymore. 5 schmodowns on a Friday, I don't have the energy anymore. I don't know if I had the energy then. So this isn't about that. I miss some of those days, sure. But this is about me realizing about how core group of important people are not there. And we're trying to get it back. And this week, one of the things in my week is this show is about looking ahead to what's in my week. And what are the obstacles? What are the potential victories? What are the potential wins? There's a lot of struggle in my life. I haven't been sleeping the last 4 or 5 days. I've had this tightness in my stomach as I fight forward in some things in my situation, which is fine. It makes you stronger. But I'm trying really hard to surround myself with love again. Again, I have a lot of people that are there. But even, there's just been a weird season of change. Are you out there? Does this resonate at all? That there's a season of change around, like, everyone in my life. There's a whole lot of, like, I don't know if 10 years is a good, nice number. Going back to 2016, I don't know. There's just a lot of, like, people I know are moving. People I know are changing jobs. People I know changing relationships. People I know are having kids. All those kind of things. It's all lined up with a lot of people in my life over the last couple of years. And I think I'm part of that too. I'm definitely part of that. So that's another thing that can weaken the connections. So this week, I'm not trying to rebuild or reconnect in a way that is 10 years ago. In fact, I think it's great that you can gather with some of these old friends and form new connections, form new ways of support, form new ways of looking out and at each other. I've been doing this a lot over the last year, but especially over the last 8 to 10 weeks. Lunches, little hangouts, more text messages. We are blessed with so much technology to keep us connected. And, that is a exhausting, burdensome thing sometimes. Sometimes you can't escape it. Sometimes you wish no one could get you by text. I was at a movie Saturday night. Yeah, I went and saw a movie. Went to Vidiot to see a screening of A Mighty Wind with a very special person. And it was a great experience. One of my favorite films. John Michael Higgins was there. It's another story. It was a great night. But all through it, and I keep my phone on because I'm just used to being on call from an old job. For 12 years, I was on call for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No break. Like really, there was a time I was in the hospital in 2006. That's about the only time I actually had a true, my phone can't be answered. So my phone's on silent, always is. But, throughout the movie, I probably got 9 texts. Now, again, it was just friends talking, texting. And I love that stuff. But I had a thought of like, we are too connected. I do like the ability to connect in case of emergency. I'm a big fan of that. I used to be terrified, especially in high school. I drove a 1981 Ford Fairmont. Kids, that's an old car. And it was old even then. It was funny. It was only like 13 years old when I drove it. I had the car like 93, 94 range. It was an 81 Ford Fairmont. But it looked like from the pages of history, not the good, but the pages in the back. And the car would break down. And I remember there was a lot of times driving that car from like 93, 94 to think about the 98 range. Whew, what a time. I would grip the steering wheel with fear because every time I started the car and drove and went somewhere, it's going to break down. And then I'm stranded on the side of the road and I got to walk 2 miles to a phone or a general store because I lived in an area that had enough rural spots that we had the general stores that you needed to go to. I was terrified of it. So I love having a cell phone. I love knowing, or as our friends across the pond would say, mobile. I love having that kind of connection. But I was sitting there in the movie going, you could turn your phone off. I get that. But it's just like, that is the dangers of too much connection. But I'm pushing through those feelings this week to reach out, reconnect, and find what is still there for each other. I'm going through a ton, but other people around me are too. In fact, some I'd say are going through more. There has been a couple friends that I've known for years, but as we've struggled through unemployment the last year together, we look out for each other. We look for jobs for each other. We look to see if we can bring each other in on projects, but we just have each other. And that's meant the world to me. I've reconnected with a couple friends who are so important to me that it's still bewildering that I let the connection slip. I let it slip. Complicated in some ways over stuff going on in my life the last 8 to 10 years, but I had let it slip. We had a great dinner the other night. In the middle of it, I started crying. I looked at both of them, a married couple, and said, there was a time last year when all these changes were happening to me. There was a time where I was so lost. Even though I did have some good people around me, I just felt so distant from people like you, and I missed you two. I missed going over to your house on Thursdays to work on projects. Dinners are being cooked, taco night, chili night, all those things, all those silly things that we can't go back to. And again, this is not about going back. This is about realizing where we are now as friends. But I just started crying when I thought about it, and at the dinner table telling them, I cried. It's probably not the first time someone's cried in a Mexican restaurant, but usually those are tears of joy. Mine were tears of regret, but also tears of happiness as well, because I was back at a table with them. And that kind of changed my outlook on some of the connections I'd let slip over the years. Again, you might have connections that slip for good reason. I had connections that went distant for good reason. My fear of when I was starting to reach out to some of these folks, or we were starting to reconnect, my fear was that, you can't go home again. And it's not 2016. It's not, in the case of this couple I was talking to, 2010, 11, or 12, in a different bygone era. Great time in my life in which I was starting to change and grow, and a lot of things were happening that led to this last decade. I was worried, like, what am I doing? You can't go back again. And yeah, you can't go back again, but you can start anew. And I feel better this week because I'm a little lost. I'm a little scared, but I feel better with connections, old and new. And knowing that the shared histories we have sometimes are the only thing in common. And I've said this before. There were friendships that have changed in my life over the last year or so or more. Friendships that changed that I literally described it as, at some point you look at them and you say, the only thing we have in common is our past. And those those moments, those realizations were when I moved on. And I still think that's true. But what I'm discovering now is that if you want it, if you need the connection, if it's important to you, yeah, you have those shared histories so that you know each other. But what is wonderful and surprising is how you can build something new with who you are now. All the stuff going on in my life, I'm still pretty emotionally strong based on some of the work I've done the last couple months. And it was fun to sit there and talk to these people who knew me when I was a little bit different, who knew me when I needed to find this emotional strength, who knew me when I needed to make these changes, and they have as well. So while we didn't have the last 8 years together in a close contact kind of fashion, we were able to find common ground and not draw upon just our shared histories, but find common ground, find new histories, and build it now. And I feel good. I'm in an important stretch right now, a year removed from some big changes in my life. I need those people in my life. I need those connections. So I guess this episode could have been 1 minute long. Go find your friends if you're fortunate enough. Not everyone has that. Maybe not everyone wants that. This is my journey. This is what lies ahead for me this week. So if you got that person in your life that you haven't talked to in a while for no really good reason other than time, maybe reach out, build something new. If you got people in your life who need your investment, reach out. If you got someone who you're like, man, they stopped talking to me, but I miss them, reach out. Maybe they're feeling that in the same way. Connection is important. Community is important. We talk about that. You hear people talk about that politics. You hear people talk about the world. And you look around, man. I don't know. We all might have to gather up and pool our money just to get McDonald's or Big League Chew now. We might have to form our own communities of sharing and resources. But beyond that, it's just nice to look at some friends across the table and realize they're still there. And more importantly, you are still there. That's my week looking ahead, forming those connections. Let me know what's ahead in your week. Let me know if this connects with you. This is how we start our Mondays around here. If you're just kind of swinging through, maybe you are also reconnecting with me from the old movie fight stays high. That's been happening a little bit more lately. That's good. I'm here. We start slow on Mondays. We got Monday nights, the Blathering Live. We got Thursdays, Blathering Live edition. We got Silly Saturdays. We've got 3 things. We've got Blathering Backstage. I've got Blathering Conversations. Got an interview coming tomorrow, too, with Pat Conkey from Culture, Faith, and Politics. We are running full steam ahead here. So subscribe, like, comment, support on Patreon. Yeah, if I'm looking for like $51 supporters right now, I'm in that neighborhood. Get exclusive things, get in the Discord, get Pop Rock on the radio. Check out patreon.com/Ken Napzok. All right, that's enough of the sales pitch. See you next time. Bye.